Good evening and welcome everyone from Ireland. Today's date is the 5th of October. This is the Cosmic Ascension Waves of Light with myself, Soma Arah, and Amber Louise today, who I'm really looking forward to connecting with and chatting and getting to know her a whole lot more. We first connected on Facebook. I forget the reason why now, but what really jumped out at me, this was a few months ago now, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I think.
Yeah.
So we connected on Facebook and she does these amazing mandalas. So I'll show the images in a minute, but I just want to welcome Amber Louise first. So welcome, Amber.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really, I'm honoured and privileged to be here. I know there was an instant soul connection. As soon as we properly connected, it was a real, knowing that, okay, we need to do something here. So I am really happy to be here and happy to be chatting to all your followers and sharing about myself, my journey, and what I do.
So I'm so keen to show the audience the mandalas that you've done for me. One is my soul mandala, and the other one is a Pleiadian mandala. Now, I know that you have a very strong Pleiadian connection. So I'm going to make a first attempt to share my screen so that I can show the work that you do, because I'm so impressed and I feel such a strong, I don't know what the word is, pull, connection, resonance, resonating with the work that you do. And it is just so beautiful. So I'm going to try to share my screen for the first time. Oh, yes, here we go. Let me see if I can share this one as well. Okay. Share.
Maybe if I just mention, so what I do is I connect with the energies to create these mandalas. They are digitally created. However, I tap into the energy that I am connecting with and then express it in this manner. However it's presented to me, I am completely channeling these mandalas. They are pure channels, and I am fully guided. So before I do a soul mandala, I have to always ask permission of the person who's having that soul mandala. Can I connect with you? And I had to do the same with the Pleiadian High Council. May I connect with you for this purpose? Because permission, as we all know, is absolutely essential in any energy work that we do. And these are, they contain light language, they contain energy on different frequencies and vibrations. They are a medicine tool as well. You can use them to assist in a healing process, as well as to help you connect at a more deeper level with the energy that is presented to you. So for example, in this case, the Pleiadian High Council, and they are, it's just adding another vibrational frequency to those that you may already use. If you use crystals, if you use herbs and other homeopathic medicines, you know, it's all very, very much just adding those layers.
And they are so beautiful. I'm just amazed by them, especially the Pleiadian one, because I've such a strong connection to the Pleiadians, and also the soul one. So I want to dive in tonight, and I do have questions, but I do like to go with the flow. So
yeah,
are you still able to see my screen with the Pleiadian mandala that you've done on there?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So So I have a string of questions for you, but you could just answer in whichever way you want to. So I want to know all about you and your work, where you live, and when you started doing the mandalas, and how you got into this work, and your spiritual experiences, and maybe later we could go into Russell Brand a little bit, maybe, if you want to. I kind of I'm being very cautious at the moment talking about Russell.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I do think we've probably got a differing opinion, because I think he's actually a good guy, but I could be wrong, you know. So anyway, I want to hear all about and
yeah, so
I'm probably going to stop sharing the screen now.
Okay, no worries. So yes, so yeah, I'm Amber Louise, and I as most of us doing this kind of work were as children very connected. I went through a period of a phase of deconnecting from the greater kind of connection, I guess, is the way to look at it. I was brought up as a strict Catholic, and as such shut a lot down, because obviously it was frowned upon. And then as I grew older, my faith grew, and I realized I came to a point where actually the church for me wasn't something that I wanted to be associated with. I did step away, and that was kind of a turning point, stepping away, because it was like I released a lot of the contracts and the binds from current and past lives, to do with religion holding me back, which had been something that had come up lifetime after lifetime. And then I was working with the angels for myself predominantly, and I was doing readings for myself and friends, and just pottering along as you kind of do, because you don't have the confidence to reach out to others. 9 years ago, literally just over 9 years ago, and it was in September, I broke my back in a car accident. I was doing 20 miles an hour, and I went into a tree, and I broke my 11th vertebrae, and they pinned it to the 12th vertebrae to fix it together. That is a sole vertebrae, and so what they did was they broke me open so that I would stop and listen, and B, I was open to receiving more of what they wanted to download to me. So the very clear guidance straight away was, we need you working with other people. And that's when I started 9 years ago to work with others to help them. And that is my sole purpose. I'm on this earth to help as many people as I can in whatever way I can. And the angels were they added these vibrational layers on very, very slowly over time. So I started off with working with the angels, working with crystals, then I added flower essences, homeopathy, and then I added sound frequencies as well. And I added the mandalas, and I came across somebody else that was creating their own mandalas. And I was guided, and I resisted for a long time to create them myself, because I was like, I had that imposter syndrome, so common for so many of us. It was imposter syndrome. I can't possibly do this, and it's not my. I didn't discover it, but hey, who did discover mandalas? Like, where did they originate from? They've been around for centuries, they've been around forever. And so I just started to create them, and I'm really not artistic. And then slowly, in the last sort of 4 years, I started to realize that I was channeling as I was creating these mandalas. And then I realized that I could also create the soul mandalas, which is connecting to a person's higher self and to bring their higher self into that beautiful mandala expression, which is a really useful tool, particularly for those who don't feel that they're necessarily connected with their higher self, because it really is a way of assisting you in that journey, and as well as connecting to your higher self, it is a healing tool for yourself, a way of opening to your full abundance and your full ability to receive everything that you are on this earth to receive, because we haven't sworn to lifetimes of poverty this time round either. We are very much here to live a healthy, good life and have our needs met without this fear. So in connecting to your higher self in that manner, you are able to then move forward from the heart, and with your full divine purpose becoming clearer and clearer. The ways that you can use your mandala, there's lots of different ways, but my main recommendations are to have it saved somewhere. So like a screensaver is a really good way of using it, or any mandala that you want to work with. So if you wanted to connect with the Pleiadian High Council, you would have that mandala available to you. You can print it out. And you can place crystals on it as well, so you can use it as a crystal grid to amplify those energies and to bring the energy into the space that you're working in. And you can also have it, you know, like there's so many easy ways to get these prints made now. So coffee cups and coasters, and you know, they're reasonably inexpensive, but another way of just adding that vibration into your day. You can print it out, put water on there, place your food on there to bring those energies into your being, into your essence. And they're obviously working optically, but there's also a very, very strong energy in the mandalas. And if you were to you can use copper dowsing rods, and I probably should have had some with me to demonstrate with, but if you use copper dowsing rods and you've got one of these mandalas, you will see that those dowsing rods will open up because of the energy of the mandala. That it's powerful. It goes way beyond the size of a normal room, so don't underestimate how powerful they are as well. And a bit like your strong crystals, you know, like the likes of your moldavite and things, if you find that you start getting headaches when you're using them, you just need to reduce it down for a little while, because it may be that they're raising your frequency and vibration at such a rate that you're suddenly getting all of these ascension symptoms and feeling like, actually, I need to be more grounded. I need to step down in the medicine that I'm taking, so to speak, because they're a medicine in themselves as well. So in addition to the soul mandalas, I also do healing work, and I give readings as well, and I do them as a complete package too. So people can have a soul mandala and receive a reading in with that, so that I can explain more about what I'm seeing within their soul mandala and their soul purpose, and any guidance that's going to come through for them within that. And obviously the healing, again, it's just bringing in another layer of vibration to help for assimilating and bringing through all of those energies. So I realize I've just been really talking for a long time. I just want to let you have a moment if you've got any questions on anything that I've said.
I do. I have lots of questions, and I was just taking some notes. So some of my questions are, what is your connection or experiences with the Pleiadians? And when did you actually start doing the mandalas?
So I probably started creating the mandalas about 4 years ago and offering them out, I would say, about 2 years ago. So it took me a while before I started making them an actual offering to other people. I've created a good number of soul mandalas now, and lots of really positive feedback on them, which has been beautiful as well. And it's even now, I still have that kind of apprehension when I hand over, I send the mandala and I'm like, oh, what is the person going to think? And then when they say like, oh, it's my favorite color, or oh, it's straight away I connected with it. You know, there's like different things that people will say, and I'm like, oh wow, they are connecting with it. They see it for what it really is. You know, it's not necessarily just a beautiful piece of work. It has a meaning and a deeper connection to them as well. So that's really lovely. Yeah.
And they carry frequency, vibration.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I think they're very healing in themselves because they carry a frequency, they carry color, they carry a sound, a vibration, and so they would be very healing. Have you had any astral experiences or spiritual experiences or connections with the Pleiadians?
I have. I know. So I know that there's been a soul and a past life connection with the Pleiadians, as well as having meditated and connecting with them, and being given very clearly my role as healer and facilitator in this lifetime to assist others. But they also recognise that I have a strong pull from the angelic kingdom, and that there is that I am to do this angelic work as well. So I feel like they've brought me to you so that I can, because they want me to bring a combination of these energies through to people as well, because again, there's this kind of, and I briefly before we started the interview mentioned to you like about separation, and it's like there is no separation to any of this now. And actually there are angelics that are working with the Pleiadians in other ways as well. So there are crossovers and combinations of those energies going on, because there is so much change to bring through, and they absolutely that they have a strong need for more people to be talking about them, and bringing their energy through. They want to assist with this ascension process, with creating this new earth that is happening all around us, and they're really starting to call people, and there's more and more people that are waking up to them now as well. There's going to be a fast rate, and I feel that over the next few months there's this fast rate of awakening and change going to be happening for a lot of people.
Yeah, I do a weekly free Pleiadian channeling, and the downloads recently have all been about change. I mean, they have been since COVID kicked off, but the last few months, the last few weeks, as time has gone on, the downloads, the feeling, the frequency with them has got more intense about the changes to come. So we're really in crazy times. I mean, we're just in such tremendous change because we're in ascension, and that does bring, you know, the downfall of all systems on earth, so there's going to be massive change, and it's probably not going to be overnight. It's a gradual process, but sometimes it seems or feels like there's such an intense energy with a certain system where that is progressing and moving forward rapidly, whether it's politics or different situations going on. A lot of it seems to be political, because I think that's probably the heart of, because that is the political, the politics rules us, they govern us.
Yeah.
So that seems to be at the heart of a lot of it. But there is such tremendous change coming that it's unfathomable. And a lot of the stuff that is going on at the moment since COVID kicked off has been unbelievable, because and people just don't believe it because it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I remember when COVID first kicked off, and I was quite panicked. I think maybe that's when we first connected or became friends on Facebook, actually. When COVID kicked off, I think that was around that time. And so I was quite panicked, and I had a lot of anxiety around it. So I had this beautiful garden at the time, which was communal. So it was very big and really beautiful. And I went to the garden and I sat down and I connected with the Pleiadians and downloaded a whole load of information. And which I've been sharing since then, and that kind of propelled me, ignited me to get online and start doing interviews. And so when you connect with them, do you know who you're connecting with? I mean, is it the Pleiadian Collective, or is it a certain? Because
I've had the collective, but I've also had the High Council, but I've also, and I couldn't give you names, but I know that there's been specific beings, so the leader of the High Council, and also other beings that have specific roles within that High Council. So there's been it's like I can see them now, as even as I sit here in my mind's eye of these beautiful beings, very very high frequency, that you just recognize this incredible energy. And when I channeled the mandala, it just felt like, it was just like, yeah, absolutely, this is their energy. So again, so not names, but I'm not a name person anyway, so I don't always get names of beings, especially when they aren't necessarily English names, if that makes sense, or known names. Once I have a name, then it will come to me because I have it. But it's like language. If you don't know a language, you can't bring the word in that language. But yes, so and they've very much been very full of love and kindness, and again, healing energies. It's like, this is an exchange where we are giving you information and healing, and you're taking it back for us. So this is the healing is like your exchange for doing this work for us, which is beautiful as well, beautiful feeling. And I also know that I travel to them in my sleep, so I'm not always conscious of my interactions with them, but I'm very aware that I will go to them in my sleep as well, and they take me again for a deeper healing.
Yeah, they always, that's beautiful, Amber. And whenever I connect to them, they always come in with such a high frequency of love, and always, and sometimes that is always there, but sometimes I feel it more intensely than others. And sometimes in the past, and I'm sure in the future, it's made me so it's such an overwhelming feeling of love. Sometimes it makes me cry for no other reason, that it's just so intense. It's like a clearing, almost a clearing of energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I actually channel Ashtar. He's the main guy that I channel, although I always don't always say that, although he also doesn't always say that, but it's mostly Ashtar. And I also have a connection to Lyra. And my feeling is that we've probably both had a lifetime at the same time on the Pleiadians, on the Pleiades. And that's probably why we feel such a strong connection. So there's a question I'm wanting to ask, but I'm quite reluctant, so I'm not going to ask it. Because it's very personal, and we were talking about her earlier. So, you know what?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my daughter. Yeah.
Okay. So I won't even ask the question. I'll just let you speak, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So on the 25th of July, my daughter passed away, having taken her own life. She had mental health struggles half of her life. So she was 26 years old, and from the age of 13, she'd been struggling. She said that she didn't feel wired correctly, and that she just didn't fit in this world. And she started with self-harming. She went on to make an attempt on her life as she got older. She was diagnosed with BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. I don't know that she had that. I feel if someone were to put a label on her diagnosis, then it would possibly be autism and ADHD. But again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose people. But I felt that there was maybe some misdiagnosis. I talked with her about it, and she did say there are crossovers. She felt BPD was appropriate for her, so I didn't, pursue anything further from that. She lost her battle to mental health in July. So I've been navigating the grief journey. I have also been sharing it on TikTok, actually, very on a daily basis. I've been sharing my grief journey on there and advocating for mental health support as well. I've had 2 people contact me through TikTok to say that they were considering ending their lives, and they changed their mind because of my videos, which in itself is an incredible it's an incredible testament to the fact that I knew that I needed to be sharing that journey, that it was important, as hard as it's been. My tears have been on show at times. I have opened my heart, and I have expressed everything as it's come through, and I've shared as much of that journey as I could, even to the point of showing the beautiful rainbow roses. I actually posted some pictures on Facebook of the rainbow roses for her funeral as well. But Jessica just, she didn't realize, she didn't see herself as she was, and she didn't realize how beautiful a soul she was. And it didn't matter how many tools I gave her, she wasn't ready to start using them. And she came through a very good friend of mine that does spirit readings, brought her through, and she said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It is that saying. And you did everything that you could. And I know I did everything I could, and I'm so blessed to know I have no regrets. I told her everything that I have ever wanted to tell her. There was nothing unsaid. She knew she had my unconditional love and support no matter what happened. And I know that she's with me. So now I am grieving as a mother, but I also, as a light worker, as a spiritual person, knowing what I know and having my faith, I also know that she's with me 110%, absolutely beside me and walking this journey with me and assisting other people now. She's doing so much work from the other side. The day that I lost her, she literally gave me messages straight away. I sat in a car and sat down in the car after a hospital appointment for myself, and the number plate in front of us read HUG, hug. And then we were literally driving along on the A road within a few minutes, and I took a picture of this one. It was SH1, say hi, and then a 2, MUM, mum. Say hi to mum on this number plate. It was, yeah, an incredible sign. And my best friend had joined me. She lives in France, and she was in the back of the car, and I just looked round to see her face when I pointed it out, and her jaw just dropped, you know, because she's not in this spiritual journey as such. She has some beliefs, but she's not in it. And so to show somebody that doesn't see those signs all the time, something like that was really something special to share. And it just gave me that confirmation. I knew she was okay, and it was just her letting me know that she was okay. And all the tools that I have in my toolbox, the mandalas, the sound, the tuning forks, you know, everything, the essential oils, the crystals, the tinctures, the homeopathy, it's all part of what keeps me going. And from day one, I had this incredible feeling of being in the center of a circle of divine feminine energy. And this divine feminine energy was holding me upright. And I was shown very clearly being in past lives where I had been either in the circle or within the circle or part of the circle. And this would happen. We would support one another through grief, through loss. And that person in the middle needing that support would receive it for as long as they needed to. It would happen exactly, you know, for as long as they needed. And when somebody within the circle, somebody on the outside of the circle needed to take a break, they would step out and someone would step in, because self-care was recognized as being essential, and that you couldn't just give. You needed to take time out to replenish yourself. And again, that's something that is so important to us as well. And that's something that is really valuable and helpful about the mandalas, is they also bring this way of, you know, replenishing your energy as well. When you're feeling low on energy, use the mandalas and they will assist you with that boost. So, and I think before we started as well, I mentioned that Russell Brand, as controversial as he is, did when we met him, myself and my daughter, she spoke to him, and I couldn't hear what was being said. But afterwards I said to her, what were you saying? And she said, I told him, I'm not wired right for this world. And he said to her very kindly, it's not you that's wrong, it's the world that's wrong. And I just said to her, that is so beautiful and it's so true. And unfortunately it wasn't enough to keep her here. However, I do know that she found a lot of comfort in that. And yeah, I mentioned, we may as well talk about him while he's in the air, so to speak, of being discussed. And I feel that Russell Brand, I do feel he is guilty of things. I do also feel that he may, my sense, and obviously I'm not judge and jury, my sense is that things happen particularly under the influence of drugs and alcohol, that he did. That does not mean to say that it's an excuse. it does diminish his responsibility, but that would be taken into account by judge and jury. And I do feel that from the victim's point of view, that he should go to court to prove his innocence, if he is innocent, or if he is guilty, then a sentence, an appropriate sentence would be made. And it could be that they wouldn't even they would shorten the sentence, but do something that he would have to I don't like the word penance, but it's like a you know, that old kind of thing of showing the remorse. And I think this is the problem at the moment. He's not shown any remorse for what he may not even be aware of having done. And he is now an enlightened soul, and I do feel that he's had some sort of walk-in. So his soul, he's not the old Russell Brand. They are two separate people. However, the new Russell Brand still needs to be almost held accountable for those actions, because people need to be able to heal from what's happened to them, in whatever way that's happened. So I do think he's a good guy now. I do feel that. I feel that he's genuine with his intentions now in bringing down the government, in exposing truths that are out there. I do believe that. And I do believe that they've held on to this information to a point until they've felt threatened by him. And now is the best time for them to release it, because they have their agenda as well. So it's unfortunately, it's all part of something that is all very much, unfortunately, a very negative. Unfortunately, that is the case. Had these people been encouraged and supported to come forward earlier, and I do think that that is a global responsibility. You know, talking about abuse and assaults that have happened needs to be discussed, and openly, and victim blaming has to stop. I think that had they been encouraged to come forward earlier, then they would have done. And I think had one person come forward, then more would have come forward. But unfortunately, you know, as we've seen, there's so many divided people. There is a lot of this, oh, why didn't they come forward before? Well, because they feel like people won't believe them, because that's what they're told, because those people probably haven't even been abused by just the one person. They may have been abused by several people. And having been through sexual abuse and assault myself, and rape, I know that each time I have been through any of that, I have been told by the perpetrator, you won't be believed. No one will believe you. And generally they've been in some sort of position of power or authority. So my most controversial, I was sexually assaulted by a priest, which is also a reason why I left the Catholic Church, because I didn't leave immediately. However, I carried on working with the church because I was heavily involved with them as a confirmation catechist. And they sent this person away for rehabilitation. The police wouldn't touch him. And even though I wasn't the only person that was affected. However, in hindsight, I remember that he had a member of family in the police. So I believe that's where the CCTV footage went. Because that apparently didn't exist.
And where were you living? Where were you living at the time, Amber?
So I was living in Essex. So I still live in Essex at the moment, but I spend a lot of time in Devon as well.
And would you be willing to share what police station this was in?
It was Chadwell Heath, I believe. Yeah. So that was the police station that was local. So yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm not going to express my words because I don't want to swear.
Yeah.
But
But they sent him away for rehabilitation, but that's not the end of it. They then allowed him back into a parish, but he wasn't allowed to be the main priest. He was an assisting priest.
What parish was this?
So he went from Basildon, which was where I was living. He went from Basildon, and I believe, but I don't know where he is now, he went to Brighton.
And is he still practicing?
As far as I know, but I haven't looked recently.
Okay, so that
I wouldn't give out names, because obviously because at some point I do believe, so when this happened to me, the vulnerable adult and child protection officer for the church came round and spoke to me, and he said, you aren't the only person that has come forward, and there has been a he has shown the steps that is normal in somebody that will work up to rape. So he had a consensual relationship with somebody, then he had a non-consensual interaction, then he sexually assaulted me, and I believe there was somebody else that had raised concerns over his behaviour with them. I don't know is
this priest still in the Catholic Church practicing?
As far as I'm aware,
he's known.
The church know what he did. They sent him away for rehabilitation before allowing him back into the community.
And just remind me again where you were and what parish he's at now, if you know.
I don't know where he is now. I know he went to Brighton. I don't know where he is now. They move them around quite frequently, and I must admit, with my healing journey, I have not maintained a need to check exactly where he is, because I trust that at some point the justice will be served, and they have, because I didn't insist that they try to take it to the Crown prosecution. They can use my evidence in future. So that's why I need to be very careful about what I say as well, because my evidence could be used in future to assist in a court case. Whereas if I had proceeded and he was found not guilty, or it was thrown out, then that would be inadmissible evidence for somebody else that might need that support at a later date.
Can I just pause there? Because you've shared a lot of information, and I kind of want to just go back to Russell Brand and then cover a few things, and then come to the Catholic Church. So with Russell Brand, my understanding is, my belief is that he was part of the negative agenda, and then he crossed over into into a white hat or a light worker. So I believe he's now a good guy. I don't believe that he did what they're saying, but I could be wrong. But this is very common of what the negative agenda does. They set people up to fail. They target them once they become public and work for the greater good as a light worker or a public figure. And the more known they are, the more they are publicly targeted, because I believe that most of us are targeted to some level. Some of the public, the more public you are, the more public the targeting is. But that's not to say it doesn't happen behind the scenes as well, at home, in our own personal lives. So I do think he's innocent, but that is questionable. It may be that he's guilty, but I do fully believe that he was very involved at one point in a lot of the stuff that was going on, which is why now he's such a public figure in this spiritual movement to do with Ascension and truth and so-called conspiracy theories, which is why he's so passionate about it, because he's seen the other side of it. And his ex-wife, Katy Perry, I think is very questionable. I saw a video of her the other day. I don't know if you saw it, with or any of our listeners watching at a future date saw it, but have a look out for it. It's a video where her eye gets stuck when it's closed, and she does something like this, like she pushes this bit, this here, and it's like someone says she's like she's pushing a button, where and then her eye comes back to normal. But it lasts quite a while. It's quite a few minutes, I think. So that's really interesting, and I think Katy Perry is very involved still. I think that's why they got divorced. So the Catholic so then going into sexual abuse and assault and rape. Now, I would have had a very traumatic childhood, and a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of assault and rape at the age of 12, where I became pregnant and then lost a baby. My mum was a Catholic, although she wasn't really practicing, because she was an alcoholic and had a lot of emotional problems, a lot of problems going on there. But I do understand the Catholic Church and how satanic they are, and how the satanic stuff goes right to the top, and that kind of filters down into the local priests and local people who are local, not all of them, but there are a lot of there is a lot of pedophilia in the Catholic Church, and at the top there is, it goes into satanic, where you've got all kinds of horrific stuff going on, involving the Pope and the very elite Catholic governors and people in charge. So there's all of that, and I just wanted to share where I'm coming from. But I think you're right. I think Russell is now a good guy, and I don't. Yeah, I mean, is there anything you want to share about anything I've just said, or?
No, just that I'm sorry that you've experienced so much as well.
It was part of my soul contract.
Absolutely, and that's exactly how I recognize what I've been through as well, is that we experienced it because we were helping others now, in this pathway. We're assisting others, and we have whatever karma was, going on from past lives. And it's not to say that we've been awful people in all these past lives, but there were things that we agreed would be happening in this lifetime, and that's really hard, and some people won't be ready to hear that either, and I recognize that, and I just want to send those people some love, actually, because I also recognize that I perhaps should have said before I started speaking about that stuff that, as a trigger warning, you might want to put that on when you post this, that there's a trigger warning for people, that this stuff is mentioned, because if you're not at a healed point, which I do feel very healed from my experiences now, not to say that I'm completely healed, because I feel there's always something else that will come through, and we're on a continuous healing journey, but I'm healed enough to be able to talk about it in this way. And I recognize that there's still a lot of people that are healing, and if you do need help, then please reach out to either or both of us, because I know that we are able to help you in your journey, and that there is a lot of love for you. And no matter what has happened, you did not deserve it. You did not deserve that to happen to you. You've done nothing ever to deserve to be treated anything other than in a beautiful, loving way. And anything that hurts you is not beautiful and loving.
Thank you, Amber. I know there'll be a lot of people listening that will get a lot of benefit from what you've said. And if they want to connect with you, where is the best place for them to do that? if they want to connect with you about to get help for about sexual abuse or assault or rape or with mental health issues or feelings of self-harm or suicide?
Yeah, if you want to get in contact, my web address is www.angeliclightandguidance.com, and we'll post the link with this video as well for you. But there is a function on there. You can book a free discovery call, which is a 15-minute call with me, so that we can talk about what is it that you need, and what are you looking for, before setting anything up. And you can see all of my offerings on the website, but that if there's something specific that you need that isn't on there, then we can talk about that and work it out and book that in for you, because very much everything it's all about you and what you need, and my offerings are there as a guide to examples of what you can receive and what you can book in. And it may be that you would book in as something like you would book in for a healing session, but we would tailor it slightly differently, because everything that I do is completely guided, completely channeled, and there's never to the same of anything that I do. So it's, yeah, whatever is needed. And also affordability. It's important to note that if you're going for like one of the top packages, so if you wanted a mandala healing and reading, and needed to do installments, we can look at that as well.
That's great. A lot of people are really struggling at the moment, and it's not limited to any country. It's just international. And I normally ask people to share at the end their details, but I did it kind of before the end, so apologies for that. I wanted to ask you about Atlantis, because something came to me just now, and it was just simply, do you remember Atlantis? Because I know you had a lifetime.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I am, yeah, that is my probably my strongest memory is Atlantis, actually.
And what do you remember?
So I had several lifetimes there. I was a high priestess, and I was one of the high priestesses that moved across to Egypt in the fall of Atlantis. So I went across in the spaceship, and was part of the new world then, and the new civilization. And I just have such like fond connection with the Atlantean energy, the purity, the frequency, the ease, that everything just happened so freely and easily. And we were talking earlier as well about about divine masculine and divine feminine, and it was, although we were priestesses and priests, there was this understanding that we were all divine feminine and all divine masculine, that we were in total balance, and that energy was exchanged in a beautiful, equal, fair way for the whole time that we were at the top of our game, so to speak. Anyway, I remember the crystals, I remember the sound healing, and the ability to simply teletransport, to literally just suddenly be one place to another, being able to live off of the vegetation and having animals gift us their milk or their whatever products they were gifting. It was a very clear gift that we were receiving as an honor for what we assisted them on their journey with as well. It was a very different way of being. I have memories of different people in Atlantis as well, and I'm glad that you mentioned Atlantis, because I wanted to say to you, I'm sure you were in Atlantis with me. So Yeah, absolutely. So as well as the Pleiadians, we've got the Atlantis connection too. And I can share, I will share with you afterwards on message my remembering Atlantis mandala that I created quite a while ago now as well.
Oh,
I don't know if you follow Tim Wilde at all.
I do
But
sometimes. I do sometimes.
yeah,
Like his energy. Yeah.
he was there in Atlantis as well, and I was showing him. I showed him the mandala, and he was like, "Wow, that is yeah." He was like, "I love it, absolutely love it." So that was that was great, and put together another
Yeah.
another mandala off the back of that. So yeah.
So this would be a great time for me to share about the Atlantis reversal and what the Pleiadians have said. So
Yeah.
while I'm sharing that, would you be able to have a look to see on your laptop if you so that we can share that Atlantis mandala now while I'm talking?
Let me have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So one of the so the Atlantis reversal has been the information has been really strong and thick about that recently, especially over the last year, 2 years. So what the Pleiadians have downloaded to me is that this ascension is now a parallel kind of timeline, or very parallel to Atlantis. So what happened in Atlantis is that negative ET, in my understanding, what I've been shown, is that negative ET energy came in and overthrew Atlantis. And many of us, myself included, had took the wrong path, or was manipulated, or deceived. Those, I'm trying to find the right word, but deceived and manipulated into a wrong path. So a lot of us made bad choices and wrong decisions in Atlantis, and we didn't get to we were already ascended, but that was the downfall of Atlantis, and that was being orchestrated by negative agenda, which is negative ET energy. Negative agenda and negative ET energy is the same thing. So the negative ET energy has been running Earth and other places ever since the downfall of Atlantis, in every system on Earth. And now what the Pleiadians call it to me is the reversal of Atlantis, or Atlantis reversal, where we now get to choose ascension and a better timeline, where we get to ascend to a higher level, and even beyond the level we were at in Atlantis. And then they do talk about the 13 strands of DNA as well, because we go beyond the level we were at in Atlantis, where we were evolved, but we descended through manipulation and control and being fed falsehoods. So, and we did have a very strong connection. We were all channelers. We were all able to connect through our crown chakras and channel information. We had a very strong connection to star nations like the Pleiadians, and were in daily contact and communication with them individually. So the Atlantis reversal is the time we're in now, the space we're in now, and it is largely ascension. It is us taking back our power, us stepping back into our truth. Our DNA is being changing, moving forward, adapting. It's becoming more enlightened. Our energy is changing, our DNA is changing, our blood, our skin, our hair, our teeth. We are evolving back into who we used to be before the downfall of Atlantis, and even beyond that, we are going into a higher, what people often call the new human, or the new Earth, or the crystalline bodies and the illumined beings. We are changing, we are evolving into a higher state than we were in Atlantis before the downfall of Atlantis. So let me see, is there anything else I want to share about that? I also do past life readings. I read the Akashic records, but it's not just on Earth, it's past lives and past lives on other star nations, so places like the Pleiades, and a lot of past life stuff does come through in my readings. So if you're looking for a past life reading, or you have a Pleiadian connection, or Lyra, or Syrian, or if you're a StarSeed and you'd like to get a reading, then check out my Facebook, which is Soma Arah. And also check out Tim Wilde. He's someone I do like his energy very much. And I'm very cautious these days. I have been since I've been consciously channeling the Pleiadians. Very wary of people. The older I've got, the more cautious I am. And I really don't follow people on social media or watch a lot of YouTube stuff anymore. Very well, there's a few people I follow, and I do like Tim Wilde. So if you're listening to this in a future date, do check him out, and do check out Amber Louise as well, because she is very beautiful soul, very in tune, amazing mandalas, just amazing, very strong healing ability. I know that with her daughter passing recently, that she has got a very deep understanding of esoteric knowledge and how it really is, how energy really works, because she wouldn't be speaking in the manner that she does, and have the understanding that she does. Do you have any questions, Amber, about anything I shared to do with Atlantis or anything before you show the...
No, I've tried to share my screen and it says only you can share your screen. I have emailed it over to you, but I don't know if you can, whether you can get it on your screen and just share it on the email that I've just sent.
Let me see. I will try, and
might be able to change your settings.
Yes. Show options. Let me see. Nope. Okay. Share screen. How do you know how I can let you share the screen?
Under more, is it in meeting settings maybe? So I've got the three dots for more, and then meeting settings, and then there may be for you the ability to allow me to share my screen.
I can't actually see the more button this time. I normally can.
Yeah. So mine's next to the leave button, but
yeah, mine is normally there, but it's not there now. So I've got whiteboards, apps, reactions, show captions, share screen. Oh, hold on, I've got it.
Got it?
Yep.
I still can't get used to how these this iPad camera just suddenly decides it's going to move around or zoom in and out. So odd.
Okay, so you should be able to share now.
Okay, let me try. So, can you see my screen?
No.
There we are. Can you see that?
I can't see it.
Screen. So can you see now?
Yes, I can see it now. Oh, yes.
There we are.
Wow. So this is Atlantis.
Yeah, this is Remembering Atlantis. So I actually ran a workshop talking about Atlantis, and this was part of that workshop, enabling people to take this away as a tool to use to assist them in literally remembering Atlantis as well. Generally, I find that most people that connect with me have got an Atlantean background. There is, even if they haven't remembered it yet, they will be drawn to me because of that. And yeah, so it's interesting the way that they work, isn't it? I'll stop sharing and come back. I've got this it's this little okay, you still there? Yeah.
Yes.
I've got this little skull, which every time I move it tries to move the camera, but this little turquoise skull necklace. He is Atlantean, and he comes, oh there you go, it zoomed out a bit. So he comes through and he shouts at people. So he literally shouts at people, and I get messages from people saying, I've just come across you and I just want to ask, that necklace, where did you get it from? Where did you get that skull from? And or I'll just get people sort of just literally stop in a shop and be like, I love that necklace. And as soon as they say that they have noticed it and they're attracted to it in any way, you're Atlantean, you're connecting with this because you've had an Atlantean past life, and he's just letting you know that you need to be aware if you're not already. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really feeling the Atlantean connection with you. And that is beautiful, the mandalas. Wow.
Yeah.
Really wow. So will you show that? Will you share that again as we're closing up?
Yeah.
And I'd love to do this again. And maybe we can go a bit more in depth about with other subjects.
Yeah.
And you could, it'd be interesting to hear your take on COVID and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But so if you send me all your links, I will share it onto the YouTube description, which is where this video will be aired. And yeah,
yeah, perfect. Can you see the mandala again? Just checking.
Yes,
yeah, lovely. Oh, it's been so lovely to connect with you again, and I am really grateful and again honoured. Thank you for having me. And it's been a lovely chat and interview. So thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you, Amber, and likewise. And we're in this together.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all my love to you, and on your healing journey.
Thank you.
Just take care of yourself, and I shall see you soon.
Absolutely. And my dog's snoring is getting louder, and I should have made an apology earlier for him snoring in the background. So yeah, but yeah, sorry about it. If it gets on your nerves, I'm really sorry. But he's you know, he needs sleep. Gosh.
I wondered what the noise was.
Yeah, it's not the husband. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Amber, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.